I'm John Schrott, and this is On the Spot. And today we're going to be talking with one of the associates of our firm, Bob Bailey, who really manages our specification side of the business. Now, construction documents are both the drawings and the specifications, and the specifications are kind of like the forgotten stepchild, but very important, right, Bob? Why are specs so important?
Well, as you say, they're the other half of the contract documents. So, first and foremost, they're legal documents, and because they're written, and because they contain particular information, they have to be correct. They have to be complete. Otherwise, you can be exposed to a lawsuit. Now, the specifications also fill out the intent of the contract documents by specifying the work result to be achieved with a particular material or product. The drawings show where it is, what it is, and how big it is. The specifications kind of give you a roadmap for acquiring and installing that product, and tells you something about the qualitative requirements that the product has to meet.
So when you say qualitative requirements, you're referring to different agencies that have reviewed that product and
Yes.
and given it a certain rating, whether it is an NFPA or other rating agency, correct?
Yes. Sometimes it's regulatory agencies, sometimes it's trade associations that establish product standards to meet in terms of material and installation tolerances, finishes, things like that. That's all part of it.
Right. So in addition to the actual products, the early part of the specification, the front end, really outlines some really valuable things for the contractor and to protect the owner, right?
Well, it does. That's the contractor's marching orders, and has a lot of the owner's requirements and input in that. It's important that the owner review the front end to make sure they're getting everything they want, and some things like insurance requirements and other things having to do with bidding requirements need to be reviewed by owner's counsel. And then a lot of it is just guides for the contractor on project schedule, submittals, providing things like temporary facilities and utilities until all the permanent stuff is up and running, and then finally how to close out the job and give the owner maintenance requirements, maintenance materials, all the operating and maintenance data for equipment and systems. That's all covered in the front end.
So on smaller jobs, sometimes we put some of the product information just right on the drawings, right? And it doesn't have a separate book associated with it.
Right. And we tend to do that on projects where we've worked with the owner before, and a lot of times the contractors has worked with the owner before, so they know the drill. We don't have to go into extensive product information, because a lot of times it's the owner wants what they want. And that's kind of how it's called out. There's not extensive product requirements on there, because in most cases there doesn't need to be.
So even in design build scenarios, it's important to have a written specification, correct?
Yes, it is. in a design build scenario, the contractor is on board ahead of time, and a lot of the stuff that you might say front end is already worked out. And in some cases, the material requirements might already be known, but there's still factors, pertaining to what they need to submit ahead of time for those materials and how they need to install them. It's important to include.
Well, thanks, Bob. I know there's still a lot of stuff in your head that maybe we'll try and get out on some other time, but for now, this is on the spot.